But you know that people nowadays are just the opposite. Yes, this father or son tells this parent, where can I get this? This is such a good thing to eat. Tell mum that I can dip it a bit more. The stock market is really intense right now. That's right. I remember you once said that the stock market is like a casino. Indeed, all around the world, it's about taking advantage of others. Yes, that's called making money at the expense of others.
This really isn't a false claim about taking advantage of others, is it? The consequences are something you should observe closely. Don't you see that the current financial collapse is just a manifestation of national retribution? Is it very realistic? I noticed this kind of thing over 20 years ago in the United States. I knew this day would come, but I didn't expect it to arrive so quickly. Many people seem to think this is just temporary.
This matter is unlikely to just blow over. It's not like that.
Absolutely not. I can say that serious disasters are just beginning now. It has just begun, and it will become more severe year by year. This is the warning given to us by scientists. It is said that we only have 7 years left to save the Earth. What does this mean? It means that the whole world will be destroyed. I believe. Do you think about human moral conscience? That's right, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. We can tell just by looking at the ancient texts. We really know where to save from. We need to save from the hearts of people. If we in China can rediscover the ethical and moral teachings of our ancestors, then it will be effective.
The leaders of those Western countries are all looking for money and thinking of these methods, which is wrong.
I really regret that I know them, but I haven't had a long conversation with them. And these people are already lost in this. They are superstitious about science. It is believed that what we say is sometimes found in the texts of ancient sages, but you cannot provide evidence for it.
You know, in the past they were still superstitious about economists, but now economists are repenting and reflecting on their mistakes. Yes, their repentance is a small matter, while so many people are jumping off buildings. Right, indeed.
He has bare UK responsibility. He is responsible because he is encouraging everyone. Yes, that's right. How many people have you harmed? How many people have been deceived? In China, people talk about Buddhism discussing the body, and there is a great principle. Regarding the body, does one practice giving with the body? It's not that I'm writing more and more. It's just that Mr. Song is right, isn't it? Yes, it is getting more and more.
Then someone might ask you this question. Old professor, I originally just wanted money, but you want me to give money away. The more I give you, the more it seems like I end up with less.
You can't hold on. Holding on leads to disaster. Do you see what the character for money means when written by Chinese people? Have you noticed? On one side, there's a gold symbol, and on the other side, there are two knives. If you just let it go, it'll be fine. Now simplified characters have become a knife. Yes, two knives. Right, two knives mean two people. It's a lot of trouble. Hey, that's life-threatening. That one word is education. So, the characters of China are symbols of wisdom. When you see these things, you can gain wisdom. Even if you don't know what sounds they make, or their meanings, you can still perceive them. Therefore, this is a type of wisdom symbol in writing that cannot be found anywhere else in the world. You can't just throw it away.
During this major earthquake, people discovered a very unusual situation. There were no tremors felt within Anhui. The Earthquake Bureau did not detect it. So after this news came out, many people didn't understand why the seismic waves from the Sichuan earthquake would skip over Anhui. Even Taiwan could feel the tremors. One explanation is that at that time, there was a 37-day Buddhist ceremony occurring during the 700-day stroke event. However, according to current common sense, this does not align with scientific reasoning.
You always feel quite oppressed yourself. In Buddhism, this is called a response. So, using this to explain it scientifically, they do not acknowledge it. However, the phenomena of the seasons are indeed like this. The household registration we originally advocated is now being activated because we see too many disasters and need to initiate action. Although our mindset is not very expansive, we only initiate 7 flags, which is for 49 days. So after the initiation, there were indeed some very unusual phenomena. This is using Buddhist terminology to talk about the current terminology, which is about maintaining different spaces. What message does it bring? Tell me that the time of the disaster has just begun and it feels too long. I would say it probably takes about 3 years. In the beginning, this household registration system is determined within these 49 days. It's not achievable, and this is of no use. So how should it be done? At least it requires 700 days, like 100 chess pieces. I will discuss this matter with the abbot of the temple, the old monk. After hearing the old saying, everyone agreed, so it was decided to extend the 49 days to 700 days. Hope when we talk about these 700 days, at the same time, we are also speaking during the teachings, like the students from Jinzhong around the world, requesting that everyone, no matter where they are, engages every day. It is best to recite the ritual of the 30 practices of stroke mindfulness, dedicating the merits accordingly. This means that the Lujing Century Zen Temple serves as a central point to which all merits are dedicated. This center generates strength to help alleviate disasters. This is how we do it. Sai, I didn't expect that on the 8th day. This earthquake would actually happen in this place. Everything is safe and sound. There are many small disasters around, but there are none in this area. So the local residents and students all feel very comforted. What we did over there really helped the local people. Everyone could also feel the good intentions in their memories. Especially the implementation of the teaching of the disciples' regulations in Tankai Town has played a significant role.
What if we were in an earthquake zone? For example, in this building, say I live on the 10th floor. Yes, a family is very kind-hearted. I apply the principle of adapting to circumstances. If there might be disasters upstairs or downstairs, can we be sure our family will be safe? It's hard to say.
But you need to understand this place. Disasters are the same. The retribution is different. Kind-hearted people also died during the disaster. When faced with this calamity, he has gone to heaven. Those who lack good faith and character will descend below. The outcomes are different. Different paths lead to different destinations. Those who chant the Buddha's name say that they can be reborn in the Pure Land. Buddha came to stop smoking and he went. Although the kind-hearted person had no intention, this thought led him to the Pure Land, where celestial beings welcomed him. This is true, so there is no need to fear disasters. The destinations are different, so I made a promise to my classmate from Hong Kong. I am certain that on September 30th and September 13th, during this disaster, I will be in Taiwan to witness it with you all. While I am in Hong Kong, we will share this experience together. To endure this disaster, well, it has resulted in loss. Moreover, we particularly call for the whole world to engage in presidential studies regarding this matter. Let us concentrate our efforts, make personal improvements, and sincerely chant the Buddha's name for the benefit of this region.
It seems there are 3 places in the country, right? One is East Tianmu Mountain in Zhejiang Province, and another is Shandong Island, specifically Jinshan City.
Another place is Lujia, Anhui. That's right, and it should also be reflected in Taiwan. When the fruit trees are in bloom in Taiwan, couples need to be together for 700 days, which is also 700. Yes, that's right. These 4 places have such great power. Indeed, so you understand that, truly, as Buddhism teaches, everything follows the heart. If we can truly discuss Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism without being overly elaborate, we should not speak too broadly or too deeply, but rather focus on the most fundamental aspects. The Disciples' Regulations of Confucianism, the Taishan Response Chapter of Taoism, the 10 Good Deeds Sutra of Buddhism. These 3 items are all quite lightweight. They should be popularized among the entire population. China has become a place that reveals the world, where there are no disasters. This is true, not false. We proved this by conducting the experiment in Lujia and Hui.
The situation changes according to the mind, and the path follows the heart. You know, I have an experience in Hong Kong, which relates to what I mentioned at the beginning of the program. A traditional Chinese education is very benevolent. Yes, even when teaching a child at home, one must explain that they should understand the good and the bad. In the face of such a great disaster, however, many people say they do not have a heart of gratitude. Instead, they claim that it is feudal superstition and advise others not to believe in it. In fact, in these 3 or 4 places, those who practice Buddhism are using their kindness to help everyone. However, many people, in contrast, do not show gratitude.
If we do any good deeds now, we shouldn't expect others to dare to do the same. That would be a mistake. Why is that? Their confusion today is understandable. It should be understandable. But why should it be? Traditional Chinese education has been lost for 100 years. Not only does he not know, but his parents don't know, his grandparents don't know, and his great-grandparents don't know. How can you blame him? So this must be understood. Therefore, the practice of Buddhism in this world today is extremely, extremely challenging. No one respects you. When you help them, they won't appreciate you, and they might even insult you. You have to endure it. But should you continue to do so, when will they understand? One day, they will know. I'm sure he will know and understand that I was wrong. I remember.
You once said that one day, when you understand, it will be too late for regret. Regret will come too late. So what if humanity understands on the day of regret? Wouldn't that be too tragic? It is indeed very tragic.
He must bear the consequences of this karma. He needs to mature, but we can see it clearly and understand it fully.
This time.
So in the past, my teacher taught me that when we learn Buddhism, we kneel before the teacher to seek guidance and ask for the teachings. The teacher said that when you pass on the teachings in the future, you may kneel before others, but they may not necessarily need your teachings. Teacher Lei is absolutely right. Our environment today is just like that, and it has already told us so. And he told me. I learned to give teachings from him, and Teacher Li said to me that I wasn't doing well. It's okay, but if you do very well, you might find yourself at a dead end in life. Is this illness not destined to be? That's why I have never lived in one place for more than 3 months in my life. So throughout my life, you see, learning Buddhism in temples is not influenced by people. There's nowhere to live, wandering everywhere, all thanks to the care of the believers. But if you can't stay in one place for a month, and everyone welcomes you to stay for 3 months, but if you overstay for 6 months, they'll definitely want you to leave quickly. Does he not realize he is creating bad karma while learning Buddhism? It's so difficult, so very difficult. Regarding traditional culture and Buddhist teachings, they are profound and extensive, not so easy to grasp the whole person. He has been greatly influenced by society. So today, with the poor external environment and the presence of greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance within, how many people possess such strong concentration and wisdom? Therefore, these qualities are lacking. It's good to hear, but I still can't let go of fame and fortune.
During this earthquake, I learned that, you called on everyone at this Dharma assembly to donate to the disaster area as soon as possible. Yes, right. So then continue chanting Buddha's name, right? This is why some people raise the question, isn't donating money and goods to disaster areas less powerful than the strength of chanting Buddha's name, the power of chanting Buddha's name?
The power of chanting the Buddha's name. It is something that ordinary people cannot see. However, the act of seeking to avert disasters is something everyone can observe. Whether we can see it or not, we must do it. Where was I before this? In Beijing. I had just returned from Xinjiang and accompanied someone in Malaysia. The religious delegation went to Xinjiang for a visit, and after returning, I specifically chose to take a bus back to Lujiang. I didn't take a plane. I took a car. When we set off in the car, we went around the Third Ring Road. In one circle around the Third Ring Road of Beijing, we can chant Buddhist scriptures for exactly 1 hour without interruption. We dedicate this merit to the capital. During the entire 15 hours of our journey down from here, we continuously chanted the Buddha's name without interruption. We hope that this merit can be dedicated to the earth. This is us, making use of this household registration now. I said our car has just arrived. It's tough, but don't be afraid. Many people worry that my body can't handle it. I say there are 3 treasures, with the blessings of the Buddha and Bodhisattvas looking after me, and the protective deities ensuring that everything will be fine. So I said a 5-hour travel time, my body is still fine, and there are no issues. It's about the heart. This power is quite good. Unbelievable. That's right. We hope that there won't be any serious disasters on this earth. The fundamental issue is education. If we can truly establish the roots of Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism, the problems of this world will be solved. As long as one can believe in the teachings of their ancestors, renounce evil, and cultivate all that is good, disasters will be forever eliminated. Disasters are influenced by unwholesome thoughts. When we transform them from within, they cease to exist, which is what we call completely eliminating disasters and avoiding difficulties. You are saying that all disasters are caused by this heart, by the mind. Therefore, Buddhism teaches that everything is created by the mind. In the past few days, discussions on the Avatamsaka Sutra have been about this issue.
So, how can we completely eliminate this in our lives or society? What are the specific methods based on the teachings of our ancestors that you mentioned? We should think of others instead of ourselves.
So I have been teaching for so many years. I mentioned this 343,410 years ago. To encourage sleep, my fellow students, I say we must let go of selfishness. In the scriptures, let go of the 5 desires and 6 forms, and abandon greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance. These 16 characters, this is us, the obstacles that prevent us from entering Buddhism. If you let go of these 16 characters, you can enter the door. Entering the door, have you gone in? If not, as I often say, it's just bringing you to the doorstep. I will take you to the door, and when you take that step inside, it is up to you. It requires effort to elevate yourself further. What is discussed in Buddhism? Perception, the troubles within troubles. This is deep perception. Clinging to this deity. The Diamond Sutra states that without distinctions of nation, person, sentient being, or recipient, you can enter the path. If you still cling to this self, it is ignorance. Entering the path means becoming a sage and transforming from the ordinary into the divine. If you cannot enter the path, you remain an ordinary person, which means you cannot escape the cycle of reincarnation. You just need to understand that life is not merely about living. What is the body? Everything I have on my body is like clothing. Clothing does not belong to me, yet it is all that I have. Therefore, clothing has life and a spiritual essence. It is neither born nor extinguished. You must affirm that spirituality is yourself, not the soul. The soul is still not yourself. Spirituality is a level higher than the soul. Many foreigners now believe that life is not the self, but the soul is the self. However, they still cannot escape the cycle of reincarnation. Spirituality is the self, the soul is not merely the spirit, but rather confusion. Essence is absolute. Being fascinated is different, isn't it? So, the 6 realms are formed from confusion. Where does enlightenment come from, if there are 6 realms?
In Buddhism, we also see another principle, which is that within collective karma, there is individual karma. Yes, many people may experience the same disaster, but there are a few individuals who can be exempt from it. Can you teach everyone this method?
These graduates are all good people, and many of them have accumulated merit, similar to the monks of the past who cultivated their practice. They have a voice. Decide fashion. Good deeds resonate with each other. When it comes to chanting the Buddha's name, there's even less to say. The effect is very obvious.
In this life, along with practicing Buddhism, the good deeds become even greater. Yes, 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 yes. While others may face such disasters, my family is fortunate to be saved. Yes, yes, yes. That's right. Many people really are half in doubt when they first come across it. Is this true? Can we really avoid disasters? Because after many disasters, especially earthquakes, many people have this kind of thought. What is the first type? It seems that money is useless. When disaster strikes, I say it's gone, and that's that. So what about these people? What kind of mindset do they have? They think I can eat, drink, and have fun, so I might as well enjoy myself quickly. Otherwise, if I die, I die. This is one type of person. There is another type of person who realizes that money is not useful, and they seek a better way to ensure their family survival. What kind of guidance do you have for these 2 types of people when they encounter disasters in the future?
This, China. Our ancestral teachings are meant to ensure your safety and to help you resolve disasters. As long as you can believe. Faith determines everything. Look at the small courtyard in Shaanxi. Why was he able to recover from this illness? There is no other information. This. I remember that over 20 years ago in the United States, I had a cold and went to see a doctor who was also Chinese. I felt a strong connection when I talked to him. I mean to say that when a patient recovers, it's not solely because you treated them throughout their life. It's quite strange. How can it not be due to your treatment? I truly believe it's not just about the treatment. The reason is that the patient has faith in you. Have confidence in yourself and in your prescribed medication, and you will recover from your illness. If this patient has doubts about you or about the medication, it will affect their healing. When it is needed, it does not have an effect. He really feels that it makes sense, and he acknowledges that it indeed makes sense. If you lack confidence in a patient, throughout your life, you won't be able to cure their illness. Similarly, if the patient has no confidence in the doctor, the illness won't be cured either. So in the end, you say the heart is not wrong. Who healed you? You healed yourself. It's like the Shaanxi effect, a very clear example. In Buddhism, faith determines everything. You say that good intentions are incredible, and indeed, faith is also incredible, truly incredible. When it comes to good intentions, you must believe in goodness. Good deeds bring good results, and evil deeds bring evil retribution. If you can stop doing evil and cultivate good, then there will be no disasters at all.
Well, these economic storms are not a problem at all.
Because the economic storm is fake. It isn't real.
So what is real? Real.
It really is. True that your self-cultivation and accumulation of virtue are genuine. You ask how our ancestors, the Buddha, taught us to become wealthy, This was when I first entered Buddhism at the age of 26. It was taught to me by Master Janjia, because he could see something in me. These elders can read faces. Master Janjia is 39 years older than me, like a grandparent. I was 26 years old at that time, and he was 65. He really liked me, so what did he think when he saw me? Life is tough. I know this because my mother once read my fortune, and it said that there is no wealth in my fate. The treasury is empty. There's no wealth at all. This means you'll have no money in your lifetime. There's no official seal in your fate. No matter what you do, you can't be a leader, not even as a village head. You can only help others, right? You can't take control of your own fate. There's no Guanyin in your life, and it's a short life. When it comes to my lifespan, I believe it is only 45 years. I believe this lifespan of only 45 years has been in my family for 3 generations. My grandfather died at 45. My uncle died at 45, and my father also died at 45, so I think my assumption might be related to heredity. So I completely believe in this. Master Janjia taught me the method to transform my fate. This proposition lacks any wealth. It suggests that you did not cultivate merit in your past lives. I haven't given money away. Right. Isn't there a story to tell? Shouldn't one give first? So, in this life, you have no rewards. Without firewood, the national treasure asked me to cultivate. At that time, life was really difficult. How can one afford to give when even managing their own daily life has become a problem? Master Janjia asked me, do you need a dime? A dime. The faster, the more beautiful, and even if it's forced, you should start from a dime. Why not give? At that time, because I had just started learning about Buddhism, I would sometimes go to the temple and see the practice of releasing life. If I get the notebook to donate money, then I'll donate a dime or 2. Sometimes I see that this fabric is the same. When a poor person falls ill and has no money for medicine, I can start by contributing just $1.50. So, it really does seem like the more I eat, the more I need. You see, he really can't even dream that I could donate 10,000 sets of the Buddhist scriptures.
Without this, can you imagine that every set is over 2,000 volumes? When the Tripitaka didn't have a complete set, it was 120 volumes, which adds up to over 1.2 million volumes. Yes, that's right, but it's something unexpected. You made a donation of over 30 million to the China Children and Teenagers Fund. Yes, that's right, many people are curious about this. Yes, indeed, where does this elderly person get so much money from?
I don't know where this money comes from. When it arrives, I give it away. Will there be enough? If there's a need, there will be.